Welcome back to Built for Profit, guys. I'm thrilled today to have Mr. Tom joining me. He's calling in from New Jersey, so fired up to dive into his story and how he got into what he's doing today. And so, Tom, number one, welcome to the podcast. And number two, if you want to kind of kick us off to say, like, who is Tom? How did you even get into the world that you're doing now?
Cool. Thanks, Austin. Yeah. So I'm out of New Jersey, Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'm in the restaurant business. We we have a company called Smith. We're a 5 unit restaurant group. We have a couple pretty well known brands in the Northeast. One being Porta, which is a Neapolitan restaurant. We have three of
Okay.
those, and then we have another restaurant called Pascal and Sabine, which is like a French European bistro, and then
Oh,
another restaurant called Homesick, all in Asbury Park. And we got our start in restaurants basically through like a creative conversation.
okay.
Some of our partners, they were in the branding business, and Asbury Park in like the early 90s was like kind of not like a great place. Like the town had gone through a lot of change, and there were some like
Yeah.
race riots years prior. But Asbury Park has always been like a big cultural hub for like
Okay.
music. Um, I don't know if you saw, but there's that recent Bruce Springsteen movie that came out, and
Yeah.
Bruce got his start in Asbury Park. He's from Freehold, and he
Oh, cool.
performed
Okay.
a lot in Asbury Park. So actually, one of the clubs he performed in was called the Student Prince, which is now Porta. Um, but it had changed hands a bunch of times. It was like a strip club. It was rock and roll club, and then it was like vacant for a while, and then we made it into Porta, which is awesome. Like our brands are super deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I think about restaurants, they're like it's a pretty tough business to be in. Like
Yeah.
like if you go on social media, you'll see like influencers saying like there are 5 businesses you should never go into, like restaurant number one.
Yeah. I've seen those things.
Like stay away. And like I can kind of agree with that because it is kind of crazy. But what really separates us is our brand identity and our ability to take care of people in our spaces. Our spaces are beautiful, so we have like a pretty awesome team. Like we have a bunch of like designers, a bunch of architects, creative people, business minded people, bean
Yeah.
counters, all types of people that have like come together to form these brands. And yeah, it's been like an awesome journey. We employ over 400 people,
Wow.
so it's a big job and it's a responsibility, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And just to backtrack too, so I got involved with the company when I was 22.
Okay.
I had just graduated college. I went to Stevens Institute of Technology. I got a business degree there. I was a
Okay.
baseball player there. I
Okay.
got out of college. I was playing baseball in Germany for a little bit,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was actually going through like a pretty heavy life crisis. I went to rehab.
Okay.
Um I was basically like burning my life to the ground, and I was like living this like double life of like, partying and also like trying to, advance my career and like take the next step. Anyway, I landed myself in rehab.
Yeah.
I ended up getting out, meeting some people, and through some mutual friends, I got connected with this group. And we built all these restaurants. We started with 2 in Asbury Park, and then we ended up building
Wow.
9. So yeah, we've been together for 13 years. Um, and I've done like everything with the company in terms of opening restaurants, closing restaurants, staffing them, raising money. I'm currently the CFO now, so
Okay.
um, I'm in charge of all the cash flow and the forecasting and the P and
Yeah.
L. And it's a cool thing. It's nonstop, as you know. You know what I mean? It's just like any business, but we're still like doing well. You know what I mean? And that says a lot.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, we had to rebuild.
Yeah.
Everyone had their issues during COVID in the restaurant. The restaurants got like brutally kind of
Yeah.
rocked from COVID because we had to like shutter, and it just gave us a chance to kind of like reorg. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of a little bit of background
Okay. I love
about
this, Tom. This is
yeah,
fantastic. So
yeah.
I appreciate you sharing the story about the baseball because I was very curious. I was like, man, at a young age, did you know you'd be in the restaurant world? I mean, did you do you love to cook? Or is this kind of one of those things where you're like, you had those two friends and you're like, hey man, this is an opportunity. There's something just kind of like came into my lap at the early 20s, that we're going to kind of go build? Or is that something that you had a passion for earlier that you were like, while you're playing baseball, maybe you were stewing up some stuff on the side in the kitchen?
Definitely not. I was like eating like Snickers bars.
Okay.
um, I've always been infatuated by brands.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I would love like Fortune magazine, and I flipped
Okay.
through
Yeah.
there, and I would just be like, I'd be like kind of enthralled by like the idea of business and logos and just building a company. You know what I mean? And when I met my friend Jason, who was affiliated with the company, he started to talk about the brands and the people, and I was like, wow, this sounds different. I had my only like previous job experience was I used to caddy as a kid. I like to be with people, and having a sports background, that was awesome. And then I had one internship at like J&J, and I was in their like IT risk
Okay.
management or some like weird job, and it was cool. Like I felt proud of it, but it wasn't really anything that like got my juices going. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And then once I heard about these brands, I was like, wow, like I want to be a part of that. I want to grow that, and yeah, I kind of just like fell into it. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
knew we had something special. So
Yeah. So
that
is it the same original founders for the 13 years that y'all been doing this for? I guess you said it was two other friends and you that kind of came together originally. Is that right?
same founders. Yep, yep. So
Wow.
I'm a part owner in one of the businesses, and we have about 9 businesses that we operate under
Oh,
the
wow. Okay.
umbrella. But
Yeah.
yeah, same group.
It's incredible.
It's a long
And
run. Yeah,
yeah, I love that. And you
we've
said,
been through a lot.
yeah, well, it's fun to see, honestly, just from a numbers perspective. I mean, over 13 years, you got over 400 employees. And then how many restaurants is that broken out between?
So right now we have 5, but we've had like a lot of we've sold a couple, we've
Yeah.
shut down a couple. So through like the life cycle, we've had about 9 or so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
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 Tom, that is remarkable. Well, I love what you talked about is creating the experience, creating the atmospheres, like the
yeah.
design, the atmospheres that these customers are walking into. I'm curious, as y'all like, what are you dreaming about? Like what is 5 or 10 years down the road? Are y'all looking at, having 15 restaurants, or are you kind of honing in and making like those 5 like continue to be very, very excellent, very, very unique? What does that look like into the future?
Yeah, that's a really awesome question. So like maybe like 5 years ago, the conversation was like 50 portas in 50 states. So,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
major
yeah.
expansion. And it's a ton of work. It's like super capital intensive
Yeah.
restaurants. I mean, like the build outs are crazy. I've managed a couple. It's a fun process, but it's like it's risky, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
now we've
for sure.
kind of refocused, and basically like what you mentioned earlier, like our focus is on our 5 restaurants right now, and to make them like the best experience for the
Yeah.
customers, and provide the most value. And we've added a lot of we were in a crazy build, like rob Peter to pay Paul with all these
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
affiliated companies, and like just like get the new location up. You know what I mean? Like that's all we were focused on. And now we've restructured to kind of like a boring company in a way, like, but we're
Yeah.
actually way more profitable, like behind the scenes. So I just wanted to share that, like that's
Yeah.
what your podcast is about. And
I love
we've
it.
put a lot of measures and cost controls into the play. And I'm sure you're familiar with a bunch of them, but daily scorecards,
Yeah.
um, you know, monitoring bank balances, daily, weekly, monthly, rolling cash flow analysis, looking out 12 months. We've really honed in on our events. And for us, that's the biggest like indicator of future revenue and profits, because it's guaranteed
Oh,
money for us. Where
yeah.
like, someone gives you a deposit, and like we could tell, hey, in September, there's a $50,000 wedding on the books.
Yeah, yeah,
So, we can do a lot of planning that way, and we could see like, hey, based off of events and, weekly sales, we could see that our payroll target is going to be off,
yeah,
for this based on that stuff. And for us, like payroll is the biggest thing to
yeah,
manage,
for sure.
which is kind of like a double-edged sword, because like you want to provide an amazing service, you want to take care of your people, and we do, but sometimes you have to make the hard decisions in like the off season and
Yeah,
whatnot protect the business, you know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
we've done that, and we've been responsible with that, and that's really been our kind of evolution, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
like most proud about that, that we've been able to pivot and kind of focus on that and see results, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Tom, this stuff, I love this stuff. Just from a CFO mind, obviously the seat that you're sitting in this season. I'm curious, like when you're reviewing KPI scorecards, all the things that y'all have built, what's the kind of the, I guess, the bigger things that you're like always want to keep a close eye on for your business? I've heard it said like in the restaurant industry, a lot of people track, well, maybe it's revenue per table or some kind of
Mhm.
like random metric. I'm curious what your metrics are that you kind of continue to go back to gauge. And you mentioned obviously even like profit events are kind of a good dictator for the future, but I'm curious what you kind of continue to go back to maybe on a weekly or monthly basis that makes sure that you feel confident about the health of your business based on the things you're looking at. What are those metrics?
So first and foremost, it's cash flow. Oh, um, we're on like a 30-day payable cycle.
Yeah, yeah,
So what your bank account shows in the day of is so important because cash is king in our business. You know what I
yep.
mean?
True in every business, by the way.
It is. It is. It totally is. So we're always on the bank balances, and we're always using that as like a main identification point of how we're doing. You know what I mean? Because the P and
Yeah,
L will show one thing, which is like that'll show our operational efficiency and
yep,
profitability, viability, and then we'll look at the bank accounts, and sometimes we'll make $100,000 in a week, but we'll look at the bank accounts and there's like no money in there, and we're like, what
that's right.
happened? You know what I mean? And like you always have to stay ahead of it. So that's
Yeah,
bank balances are key. In terms of like drilling down, um, average guest check is really important.
okay,
Because whether you have 300 or 500 heads in your place per day, that difference between a $25 check and a $30 check is huge. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
and our business is all in the margins.
yep,
Um, we do about 25 million in top line profit.
wow, okay,
So 1% is a hefty number. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To the
yeah,
bottom line. So like it's in those tough decisions. It's in those percentages every week of like the payroll and looking down the P&L and looking at those expenses, and kind of always seeing how you can kind of whittle things down and stay like on top of it. Like, and it's so crazy in the restaurant business because there's so many invoices. So like
yeah,
one of our we have like monthly subscriptions, and they got raised up by you know $100 per month, but like times five,
yeah,
times 12, that's like a number, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And when you look, that's just one vendor, and we have hundreds and hundreds of vendors, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's the more you peel things apart, the more results you'll get, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like it's kind of like always on. So that's one area. We talked about events. That's
yeah,
that's another area that we gauge a lot. And then we also break our business down into like a three-prong like revenue like inflow. So
okay,
like we have
cool.
regular restaurant dining, which we monitor. We have events, and
Yep,
then we have a late night business too.
okay,
So we really like focus on those streams, and those have like a big impact. Sometimes one or another will take a dip due to different reasons, and we partner with a lot of people. Like we partner with a lot of like late night promoters and
okay,
DJs and
cool.
groups that like have like pockets of customers already. You know what I mean? And we've built pockets ourselves, so like we're constantly working in tandem with our partners and
Yeah,
looking for new partners, and yeah, just staying on the cutting edge of things. And that's something we've always done too. We're like a little bit off topic, but like back to our spaces of like
yeah,
keeping them fresh and keeping them beautiful, and like adding new like cafe bar sections and adding new like coffee purveyors and training for our staff so that we have like delicious espresso drinks.
oh, cool, yeah,
Like, we're doing an outside patio renovation um this week, just to add like another layer of like beautification for like the
yeah.
events or private events. I actually got married at Port at one of our
Oh,
restaurants
no
last
way.
year.
Okay,
Yeah. my wife picked
That's
it, and I was
awesome.
like, "Yeah, that sounds great." And it's like in our back, it's not in our backyard, but in our hometown, and
Yeah, yeah,
it was amazing, dude. It was crazy, and like I'm biased because I love our
yeah,
company, but
yeah,
like it was hands down the best day. Like it was so fun, and it's just like a credit to our people. You know what I mean? Who
yeah,
like care
yeah,
so much and go above and beyond, and like we have like an amazing event staff who like they love it and they have so much pride and they really own it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's like a great thing. You know what I mean? Like we have a really strong culture, and that kind of goes back to the brand that people feel, you know, a part of it, which
yeah.
is a great thing. Customers and staff.
I love that, Tom, and honestly, that was gonna be my next question is what do you feel like you have momentum in? But I think you answered it. I mean, you really is I feel like those 2 areas, the culture side and the beautification, if you will, or the atmospheres that you're creating to create these unique experiences, I think is so powerful. And I think honestly, tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like those 2 things kinda go hand in hand, right? So, like, the culture has the ability to thrive in places where they feel proud to walk into and proud to serve and proud to do those things in those spaces. But is that kinda how it's kind of like a flywheel, if you will, of like, if, "Hey, if this is nice, then our culture will be higher," kinda thing?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it all plays a factor. Like even like our the apparel that we sell in the restaurants, like it's cool,
yeah.
it's branded. I have my father-in-law, he loves Porta, and he'll wear the Porta sweatshirt to Porta when we go for, like,
That's
dinner,
awesome.
and, like, all his daughters are ragging on, like they're like, "You can't wear that in Porta." I'm like, "Yes, you can." Like, I love it. Like, he's it's, like, full
Rep the
send.
brand.
Yeah, it is the brand, yeah, and it's cool, like, we don't people from, like, across the country will be like, "Oh, I know Porta." Like, they're in, like, California. There's, like, a lot of connections, and like we have people from like Pennsylvania who would like drive to
Wow.
see us. Yeah, so Porta's like Neapolitan pizza. It's
Yeah.
all communal tables.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
like
Okay.
it's a huge space. So it's like 11,000 square feet
Oh,
or
wow.
so. It
Yeah.
used to be, like I said, like that old nightclub. So it's like
Yeah.
huge ceilings. It's it's like kind of like industrial but warm.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it, and we go off the term wabi sabi. That's like
Okay.
the Japanese proverb of like the perfection in imperfection.
Cool. Yeah.
So like expose like rafters, and like we have like an American flag hanging on the wall, and we have doors all over the wall, like old like antique doors, because porta means door in
That's cool.
Italian. And
Very cool.
yeah, it's like a warm, special place.
Yeah, that's really neat, Tom. I think
Yeah.
my wife and I 1000% are gonna come visit when next time we're in the area.
Oh, I would
And
love for you to, dude. We would show you the works. Yeah, please
yeah,
please
man, I
let
would
me know
love
if
it.
you do.
That'd be so much fun. I love that so much. Okay, well, as y'all are continuing to create these spaces, create these events, what do you feel like right now in business is the thing that you're focused on, or the wall that you're trying to break through, or maybe the bottleneck in your business that's kind of driving your focus right now?
I would say the biggest bottleneck would be I'm not sure if it's a bottleneck, but yeah, it is a bottleneck. The sales side of the restaurant business. So we like I said, like we kind of go through like peaks and valleys of
Yeah,
different things like booming events and in late nights and regular restaurant dining. So I would say the biggest like opportunity for us is in like the content creation side. Create like real authentic stuff to get to like let people know like what's going on in
yeah,
our spaces, like kind of like our conversation in the past 10 minutes. Like I want to be in our restaurant now after talking
yeah,
about it. Like it's so warm and cozy and fun. And like
yeah,
we do some awesome stuff, and we do a lot of content creation, but I think there's always like the next level of kind of being creative with it, and
yeah,
just reaching more people, you know what I mean? Helping more people in the way of, yeah, like being a go to place for regular dining or someone's
yeah,
wedding or baby shower or corporate events. It's crazy because this is kind of like a funny story. I belong to this gym in
yeah.
in a town nearby. I love it. Great culture, great brand. And I'm running on the treadmill next to this girl, and I'm like, "Hey, how's your day going?" And I've seen her, we've been friendly for a while. And I asked her, I'm like, "What do you do for work?" And she's like, "Oh, I work for Forbes." I was like, no way, because we host Forbes every year at one of our Jersey City
Cool.
locations, and they have like a huge buyout. And I'm like, I have always wanted to like connect with you guys because I'm not like the person who manages the events, but I'm always thinking about Forbes because I love that
Yeah, when you
brand.
were younger.
And like, I want more parties with like, I want to like help you guys, you know what I mean? Host more of your stuff and maybe like host your friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was something I was thinking about for like maybe like a year or so. And it's like someone who I know, she's the event coordinator for Forbes that books that
Wow.
party. It's like crazy how the universe works like that,
Yeah.
which I got to follow up with her. I got to make a note.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. It is wild when you have connections like that, yeah.
It's so wild. I think that's a huge opportunity, like posting what you want more of in the world. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like doing like a behind the scenes kind of like here's the Forbes like buyout party and like because we're doing amazing stuff in our restaurants and I just want to like share that with the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. Have you ever had, like, a social media person dedicated to the team, or y'all just kinda, like, done that on the fly for somebody that's been in the part of the team, or what does that look like in the past for y'all?
We have a full-time dedicated person and she's
Okay,
amazing. Like
okay,
she
cool.
manages so much for us and but she's also like a dual kind of employee where she'll like
Yeah,
come in and like manage a restaurant in like a dire situation, you know what I
yeah,
mean? So there's like I think there's a lot of opportunity there to carve out some more spend into, more people or more like companies or more support to
yeah,
kind of share that opportunity with others.
yeah, for sure, man. I think
Yeah.
to your point, I love the point that you made of saying, like, share more of what you wanna do more of, and just invite people to be like, "Hey, this is what we got going on, this is what we're doing more," because I think that has the potential to just continue to create more of what you wanna create. Right? If you share that with the world. So I think that's super powerful, Tom. I love that. Okay, I'm curious. So 13 years in, you're obviously loving what you're doing. If you could go back to a younger self, and I don't know how long you've been in the CFO role, but if you could go back to your younger self to say, like, hey, I wish I would have known this about reserving profit or tracking certain things in my business to make sure we're healthy from a profit standpoint. I'm curious if you could tell your younger self something, what would you kind of tell them first getting started 13 years ago?
I would tell my younger self to be more vocal and more all over the numbers for lack of a better word
Yeah,
because like I said, like the more you peel things apart um and keep your basically eye on the ball, like the more results you get, you know what I mean? And like I said, we were in like a crazy like grow phase and I wouldn't like go back and change anything because I have like no regrets. But I think that's
yeah,
like something I've developed in the past couple years as like a CFO and more of like a seasoned expert in my
yeah,
field of just understanding when things don't work, you have to make a change. And like I think in the past, I don't think I know in the past we've like waited too long to make changes
yeah.
and it's cost us millions of dollars. And you know, lately I'm someone who just wants to like face the problems and address them and like have the hard conversations because it's way better to do that in the now rather than like wait and like
For sure.
and it's just if you're gonna eat crow, you might as well eat it while it's hot.
That's right. It's not the
Yeah,
easy thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. That's a
it's the
great
right
point.
thing to do. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that, Tom. I know the way we phrase it is that, sales and operations drive the business, but finance is
mhm,
what tells you if it's working or not. And so the
100%.
downside, and you've probably experienced this too early on, and especially when you're in growth mode, like reviewing finances and reviewing the numbers is kind of like just the low priority thing because you're just like trying to put out so many fires on the sales and operations side or getting dollars coming in the restaurant or whatever. But the conversation we get to have with business owners all the time is that like it's important from day one for you to know your numbers because that's telling you what's working, what's not working, so you can save
100%.
the $1,000,000 mistakes that you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree more, you know what I mean? So if you're a business owner and you're not super financial forward, you're leaving a lot on the table. And like you said, you could tell the numbers kind of they don't tell all, but they tell a whole lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
you
for
could tell
sure.
what's working. And a successful company needs that combination of grow, 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 no matter what, and protect the brand and investing. And then also like the bean counters and someone who's
Yep,
gonna have those difficult conversation and have um the automation and whatever tools in place, the systems to make it like simpler,
Yep, 100%
so
Tom. I
that it's
love it.
not like heavy lift.
Yeah, so true. Okay, I'm curious just for you specifically, Tom, like 10 years from now for you, are you the CFO? Or are you back to opening a brand new store from scratch? Or like, what does that look like? What do you, for your position, do you foresee yourself being CFO long term, or what does that look like?
I feel like it's a natural role for me, just in
Yeah,
the sense of like, I'm not afraid to like face the music, in terms of
right.
like the financial world. And sometimes it's kind of scary in the restaurant business because you're like, oh
Yeah,
no, like what are the results? So
yeah,
like to me, that's like I get to flex my like service and like kind of like selflessness, and how can I help the company by
yeah,
like
that's cool.
getting ahead and continuing to hone that craft. So I definitely feel like privileged and like in a great spot. And looking forward, I see myself more so. I'm just making this up, but I love projects and deals.
Yeah,
So I've been talking a little bit just about kind of like what's next. You know what I mean? And maybe there's a possibility of M&A.
yep,
So maybe that's in the restaurant world. Maybe that's outside. Maybe that's just like in my local. Who knows what it looks like? But that's a huge area that I think, as we were talking about, to provide that level of like financial guidance and just kind of support that could really change someone's life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and putting some things in place to improve the financial viability for the current, but also the next phase, whether that's, bringing on a partner or selling your company. And I think that would be fun just to like help people like exit and
yeah,
maybe acquire new businesses. I've always loved, for us, like when we open new restaurants and stuff like that, it's a fun process.
yeah.
So I think that's kind of like the same excitement, of like newness and projects, which I can like apply to that world too. So that's something I've been thinking about and like in the
Yeah.
works, and been having conversations with people in the industry. So that's what's up for me right now.
Yeah, I love that, Tom. I think it's so needed, especially with your experience and your background of all the things that I mean, the 9 locations, reduced down to 5 now and all the things that y'all have been through. I think that is a beautiful way to kinda leverage your experience to go help other people, especially in the restaurant industry, so I love that so much. Well, cool, Tom. I feel like we could talk for hours. I love this so much. I wanna honor everybody's time for the podcast, but awesome. If people wanna know more about you, Tom, or more about the restaurants that y'all are operating, where's the best place to find you?
So you can find our restaurants at smithmade.org. From there, that's the main landing page, and you can go to Porta, you can go to Pascal and Sabine, and you can go to Homesick from there.
Love it.
And then I'm on Instagram _ Tom Phillips, and then LinkedIn. But yeah, that's how to find me.
Awesome. We will definitely put all of those links in the show notes. Tom, thank you so much for the conversation today, man. Really enjoyed it and love what y'all are doing in New Jersey. And like I said, when my wife and I are up there, we're going to stop by for sure.
Dude, absolutely. You have to. You have to. And thank you again. What a privilege. And it was super a fun conversation. So I appreciate it, Austin. Thank you.